Hey there, everyone. Do you think it's time to give it some change? Your content, that is. So today it's time for you to change it up. I'm going to share with you a couple of my secret tips that I get to use that's going to help you look like the creative genius that I know you are, but with a little help and a whole lot less work. If that's what you're looking for today on Biz Tip Tuesdays, let's get busy. All righty. Hey there, everyone. This is Dr. Yam, your Keep It Simple coach inside of Content Creation Tips and More Facebook group, as well as my page on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So today we're going to get right into it. Oftentimes, you feel this kind of weight that gets on you when it's time for you to create content. And the reason for that is we put pressure on ourselves and we look at creating content marketing as a lot of work. Yes, it is about work, but it's also about quality and not so much quantity. However, in this particular case, I'm going to share with you how you can get that kind of quantity bang for your buck by simply using the content you already have. So, most of you right now, this very moment, are sitting on a gold mine. You're sitting on stack of content that you haven't tapped yet. And the one that I'm going to be speaking on in particular is how you can stretch your content. You know how it is like when you have leftovers, right? You made this really huge meal and it was really, really yummy. And then you've got all this extra ingredient and then things just kind of sit, or you put things in the freezer because it's done. Well, tonight, when it comes to your content, let's kind of defrost, if you would, the content that you already have and how is it that you can utilize it differently with a little bit of ingenuity. So I'm going to be demoing for you at least three. I might be able to sneak in four ways that I use the way of repurposing the content that you already have. Now, I got this inspiration from one of my good motivator friends, I call them, but Gary Vee, very well known in the industry, in a lot of different industries, honestly, but he's a serial entrepreneur, which is what I truly appreciate about him. But several years ago, and he's not the only one, he didn't make up the strategies. I don't want to over glorify, if you would, but there is an opportunity in how you can leverage content. And that's what I want to be able to share with you all tonight. So, when it comes to how is it that you want to be able to essentially take a piece of the content you have and simply change its format. So what will that look like? And so I'm going to take you through a couple of steps, if you would. So you'll probably want to kind of come back and rewatch this video because I want to break things down. I'm going to actually go through and demo it for you itself. But these are tips that you can apply like as soon as you finish watching this video and we're like, dang, it was that easy. I didn't know. And you can put it right into practice. And please share that content that you do create inside of our content community space. That's where I want to be able to give you that freedom and space to kind of try and apply, if you would. So you do have that. So let's get started. So the first one I thought I would want to share with you is how you can turn a article into both an audio and a video. Okay, so the first one I'm going to share is just that, turning an article into an audio piece of content and then a piece of video content. And the way that you can do that is simply using something that most of you should already have. If you don't already have a blog, I want you to don't feel bad. You can even read somebody else's blog and use it for all that matter. But for right now, you should have at least some blog content on your page. And I'll speak about that in another matters. But I want to use actually my newsletter that I just sent out today. So if you haven't already read my memo that came out today, do check your inbox and open it up. But I'm simply going to do that. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. And we're going to present And okay. So here is a copy, right, of my memo. So the same would apply if it were a blog post or an article that you already have on your page. Does everybody see that? So the basis of this article in and of itself is basically a script that you can now create an audio version of. You have to remember that a lot of people are looking on their mobile devices, and sometimes they're doing that while they're multitasking. Maybe they're doing it while they're sitting in a meeting when they should be paying attention, but they rather look at your content, and that's okay. Or they may be driving and they want to be able to hear content rather than obviously they can't read it. So you being able to leverage this piece of content in a different format can stretch that dollar, if you would, in that particular way. So treat your blog as if it were a script, and you then will be able to record. So how are you going to be able to record? Well, you can do this for free. I'm going to demo an online tool that is free to use. And then I'm going to also put up a link to a tool that I actually use because of the types of content that I typically create and I like to utilize as well while I'm inside of meetings and things, which is that. So here we're going to go. I'm going to stop sharing this one and I'm going to go over to my other tab. So and I'm going to put this link. I think I have it. And I'll put this in the chat. So let me do that first. So here in the chat, I'm going to show you, this is the website I'm going to be demoing. And where is it at? Okay. I'm going to put it in the comments. There we go. So you should see that there. Let me just double check my thing there. Okay. There you go. So inside of there, let's see, I don't know if it's going to show, and I'll pop it inside of the Facebook group too. Sometimes things don't always post where you would like them to. So, so show it. Let's see if it's going to work. There you go. All right. Yeah. So I put that link there inside of Facebook and it should be, so you'll see it. So this is the link and I'm also going to show it here on this screen as well. See if it's going to pop up real quick. Hold on. So here it's just called online-video-recorder.com. So this is a down and dirty tool that you can use. It's totally free. Don't have to sign up. Don't have to make an account or anything like that. And I'm going to share with you how that will actually work. So give me 1 second and I'm going to turn on that screen. And there we go. Okay, so what will happen is you'll go to your screen. It looks like this. And once you get there, right, onlinevoicerecorder.com. Okay. And what you're going to do is simply click your button here, and then you can start to read your blog and create an audio podcast, if you would, that you'll be able to share on your website, inside of any of your social medias. You can send them a link so they could just click and listen to. So all you'll do at this point is simply hit the record button, and then you'll have your script ready to go. So in this particular case, I'm going to start my script and say, hey, last night during a client call, the thought of creating content seemed like a daunting task put on her plate. So a few next minutes later, as things were just kind of progressing in our conversation, I reminiscent of my professor during my doctoral studies. That wasn't a party, but that's another story for another day. And always said to me, trust the process. And I understand that not everyone is a creative genius. Thankfully, when it comes to creating content, the beauty is you can simply look like a creative genius without all of the genius. And now, so you can continue to record your audio. It's just as simple as that. And then when you're done, you just hit the pause button if you need to pause, which I always recommend. If anytime you can, if it's a long piece of content, do it in sentences or do it in paragraphs. Don't try to sit and read a whole piece of content in one breath. Chunk it. If there's a pause button, take advantage of the pause button. But when you're finished with doing it, all you'll simply do at that point, is hit the stop button. And now you have the audio here, and it will play right back for you. Let me make sure. I think I have this on. Yeah. And it will play right back to you. Let me see if it's going to play. I hope I didn't hit my share button to hit the audio. Let's see. And then you'll have your script ready to go. So in this particular case, I'm going to start my script and say, hey, last night during a client call. Okay. So now you have your audio file, right? And then you just hit the save button. It'll process it. It's going to prompt you to save it. I don't know if it's going to show up on the screen since this is not, but you'll prompt you to save it, and you just save it as an MP3 file, give it a name, and store it on your device. And it's simple as that. And then you're done. And so that's one way you've just repurposed that one piece of content. So I've taken my memo or my blog or my article, and I've now made it an audio file. And now I can share that. Either put it on the same blog if you have a blog on your website, and now people can listen to your article if they don't feel like reading it. So that's another added value. And then, of course, share it on all your social media, right? So there's that one. So that is tip number one, is turning on your audio and creating that piece of content. Okay. There we go. Now, another way that you're able to create and utilize your content is to, let me just make sure I got my other one out here. It's almost kind of doing the reverse. You can take an audio and make it into text. Now, that's the opposite, right? So after I just downloaded that audio file, I can now upload that audio, because maybe I just was talking, or maybe I had an audio track, maybe from a podcast interview that you were on, and you have the video, but you don't have it transcribed. Now you can actually convert that and transcribe and turn that audio file, like the one you just created, and turn it into a text. And then that can then be turned into a piece of content. So in that particular case, you would use a tool like Otter. And Otter has a free version and also has a paid premium version. I certainly subscribe to it, but you can actually upload that same MP3 file on their website. So you simply go to bit.ly.dryanauto, and you'll get a link to go right there. And then you'll be able to create it. So let me see if that one's going to let me do it on this one. Hold on one second. See if Otter's going to let me be nice. Hold on one second. I'm going to. So Otter AI, where you can go, and you can start for free. And then there is a very limited freemium version that you can use. And then you can also tap in. So give me 1 second. Let me pull that up. It's going to let me log in. Here we go. I don't know if this is. Computer acts a little slow when I'm going live, so forgive me. All righty. So let me share my screen. And there we go. I have to share by tab, otherwise it doesn't look really nice. Okay, so here is Otter. So when you start with the Otter account, you'll see there's a link there that says import. So you can import your audio file, and then it will convert it to text. So let me bring up a file for you. Give me 1 second. And let me go back here to a mini file. Give me 1 second. think I can bring one over here. Okay, so I'm going to bring up this one audio file just as an example. All right, so it will upload the file and connect it. And then, hold on, guys, because sometimes when it's on a different screen, there we go. Okay, so it's going to upload the file, and then it's going to prompt you to go to transcript. So you can take that file and then hit go to transcript, and now the conversion is going to start. And so you can be notified when it's ready, or don't ask, either one. So I'm going to say, yeah, notify me and tell me. And right now, it's working its little magic, its little AI magic, we like to call it. And now it's taking that audio content and it's actually transcribing it. And I'm going to get all of the text that is available. Okay. Okay. And so that's how that works. And then you'll have a text version. I'm not going to wait too long because it says it's got like another minute left. So essentially, though, that's what will happen. You'll get the full transcript. Now, if it happens to have more than one voice, which is nice, it's going to take like talk with, speaker one and speaker two. So then you can have everything kind of broken down. And again, that's either a transcription that you can convert, make that a blog post, share it with your audience so they can have it as their takeaway notes from some other activity that you might have done. So there's quite a few different ways that you can even repurpose this content. But just from taking an audio that you might have utilized or just created, you now have another piece of content from that same blog post. And that's just that simple. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing that. It says the transcript's completed. Let's see if I have to refresh. Maybe I need to do a refresh. Let's see if it'll transcribe. I see the audio, but I'm not seeing the notes, the text. Let's see. I think I might have, I don't know where it went in my conversations. Okay, it's not coming up for me right now, but it's just that simple. So I'm not going to take too much time. So that's a different version of converting audio to text. You can do it in that fashion. Now, I'm going to stop sharing that. All right. Now, another way that you're able to leverage your content is to convert your content that into tweets or into social posts. And so what that means again is how can I leverage that content? So let's go back to the article, right? So we're back in our article, and it had just so happened in that particular case that that particular article had some highlights or some good chunks of information because I was kind of like little bullet points, if you would, right? So I have like 5 different, in this case, it was having to do with repurposing, i.e. today's concept. So here are several ways that you could repurpose that content, repurpose a piece of content. So one was to expand, another was to condense, to bundle, to update, and to switch your angle. So guess what? That's 5 pieces of content I can now repurpose and recreate to make a social post. And so what I would do if it were me, and this is what you can do, so I'm going to model it for you. I'm going to take this first one, and that's going to be like my theme for like 5 posts. So it's going to be the 5 ways that you can repurpose content. And I'm going to make a social post. So now it can go on my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Twitter, my Pinterest, Instagram, right? And so I'm going to take this one piece of content to use, and I'm going to go over to Canva. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here, and I'm going to head on over to Canva. And I'm going to Move over to the Canva side. There we go. So the nice thing about Canva is it has some places where you can hold some text. So I always like to do so. You can open up a new design in Canva. And this also works inside of Vista Creates Crello. I jump between the two, and Stencil is another tool that I happen to use. But I'm just going to do a quickie inside of Canva. So when you're designing in Canva, if you haven't noticed, you have a little button here that's called Notes at the bottom. So what I do is I'm going to put my text here to kind of be my placeholder, right? And this is also going to be part of the copy that I'm going to do when I actually do the publishing of that content, which is the second part of the step. So the first part is we're going to take existing content. We're going to now reuse a chunk of it. So I've taken a piece out of the bigger piece, right? And I'm now going to create a visual to go along with it. So I'm going to go over here to my designs, and I'm going to go with this particular layout. Did you know? Right? Now I can manipulate the text a little bit and put it right into place. And said here, I'm going to take that same piece of copy content, right? I'm not rewriting. You can, of course, do some tweaking, but right here, I'm going to do this and make that my content. I'm going to do here. I'm going to copy paste this over and put it here. Oops. Paste it in. And I'm just going to kind of change this format a little bit and say, did you know you can expand? Right? So now that's just move that up a little bit. And then I'm going to make make sure I give myself my branding here. Keep it simple, coach.info. Right? So there we go with that. And now, did you know you can expand? And so what does that mean? So I'm also going to remember that whole piece of content that I have, I'm going to use that now as my caption for my social post. So I'm going to do a quick download now that I have that. And I'm just going to highlight and copy this just so I can bring it over to my social media management tool. So let's download this piece of content. And I only want page 1. So just number 1. And let's save that. I'm just going to save it to my desktop for the purposes of today. Yeah, you can change the color and all that other stuff, whatever you want. But just for the sake of demonstrating, I'm going to do this. All right. So we're going to download, save this to my desktop real quick. And I'm just going to call this one expand. Okay. And now I've saved it. So now I've created my visual. That didn't take very long, right? I should have timed myself, right? I should have said, how long is this going to take me? But okay, but certainly under 5 minutes, right? Now, this was animated too. So let me see. Did I see that one as animation? Oh, that was a little bit of animation. So I could have saved it as a GIF as well. So that's actually 2 bits of content that you just created. So you can save this again. All right, so now that we have a piece of content, I'm going to stop sharing that. Just created my visual. So now I'm done with that. So now I'm going to go over to my social media management tool, Social Balance. So I'm going to go ahead and share that tab with you guys. And all right. So now we're in Social Balance's dashboard. So when you have your Social Balance account, and I'll put that link up there for you in a moment. Let me do that real quick. There we go. There. You can go to Social Balance Media Management Tool. So you go to socialbalance.co, and you can get a 14-day free trial if you haven't already gotten yours already. Get yours, and then you can apply to any one of the different plans. I'll be highlighting that even more as the days come about. But just know this is the tool that I happen to use for my social media management. All right. So now that we have that up, I'm going to Where did it go? Okay, sorry. Did I share it? Hold on a second. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Sorry. My screen's getting a little dizzy. Okay. So now I'm in my social media management tool. So I'm going to just quickly copy and paste that same piece of copy, right? That I got from my blog, right? You sticking with me? So now I'm in my blog. I took that little chunk out of the blog. I've now put it inside. So I'm now going to create some caption content to go with the image that I just created for my social post. Now, I'm going to I can tweak this a little bit because you don't have to repeat the same information that's in the visual, depending also on the type, on the social post or platform rather that you're going to be sending it to, which you can customize a bit. Because you'll notice, for instance, this is a little lengthy as far as text. So for Twitter, for instance, it's going to extend over the limited characters, and you don't want to do that. So I can certainly do this as a quick edit. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to bring up my image that I just created, right? So I can add that, go to my desktop. Here's my picture. I'm going to pop it right in there. Voila, done. All right, so now I have a picture. I have my caption, and then I can also, in this case, I'm going to put it not only to my Twitter, I'm going to also say, you know what? I can send it to my Facebook page. I can put it in my group, right? I can put it as many different places that I want. And then I know that when it comes to Twitter, I have to edit this because look, I'm 14 characters over. Well, I don't need the text that's associated with what is already there. And then what I can do is a one here, I can just say one or tip number one. And then that's it, right? Now I've got a whole bunch more characters that's free, and I can use that for maybe a hashtag. So I'm going to put on here content marketing as my hashtag, and then you can, of course, dig for the other hashtags that are necessary. And so when you're, so this is for those two platforms. I didn't have to change anything with the one for Facebook. I want it all to be what's there, so I can keep that all in line. So if there anything that you want to tweak for each of the platforms, you can certainly do that. Isn't that wonderful? So now I have not only created a visual image, I've got my caption content because I'm taking it from a repurposing in and of itself. And now I can put my category. And of course, with this content launching, I'm going to be educating. So I'm going to be shown as the expert. So I'm going to put it as my expert category. Remember our social balance content areas, and expert is one of them. And then if I wanted to, I can add my watermark because notice, yes, I did put my URL, but if you have a watermark, our platform inside of Social Balance will actually automatically put a watermark on there for you. Another branding tip. And now, if I want to, I can put this in the queue so that it could repost. So I might want to say this is like evergreen content. And every time I know I'm going to be talking about this, I can have it running over a period of time. So I might say every 6 weeks, every 10 days, however I want to run it. And then I can schedule my post. So right now I'm just going to save it as a draft because I don't want to run it out, but I can certainly put it as a queue. In fact, what I will do for the sake of today, I'm going to turn off Twitter and I'm just going to post it inside of the Facebook group, because then you'll see what I just created, right? So I'm going to say I can schedule, and I can do publish now, or I can schedule for a future time date if you want, or you can simply save it in the draft. But for the sake of tonight, I'm just going to go ahead and say, hey, publish it right now. And now you'll see it, guys, inside of the community as the post that I'm demoing for you right now. And it was just that simple. So that was one. Remember, there were 5 pieces there. So now I can run there's 5 pieces of content in and of itself that I can now sit and create and knock this out in less than 30 minutes. Probably like 10. If I do all 5, I mean, right? So we'll have that. And then that's all there is with that. And so that was a different one. So I'm going to stop sharing while it's doing that. And now let's go back. All right. Now, So that got you for taking a piece of content and then pulling it out and then making it into a tweet or a blog or Facebook, LinkedIn, what have you. You can put them all on each one of them, right? We're done. Now, here's a cool one. And I just did this one not the other day, but this one I love to do. And since you're already on social media, why not use content that you're already kind of commenting on and you feel intrigued and maybe it's a motivation or something that might have inspired you and you want to share it with other people? Well, rather than you having to retype it and all that other stuff, you could just do it and you can do it on the fly on your phone. So I'm now going to show you a model how you can do this using your cell phone. You ready? All right. Now this is how this looks. I'm going to share my screen again. Going to turn, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to, I think I got to make sure my thing is on. Okay, I do have it on. Okay, I'm going to now share my cell phone with you guys. So I am going to model. Hold on, let me make sure I share the right tab. Smart mirror, there we go. All right. All right, so now you're looking on my cell phone. I happen to be in my Twitter account. So I'm able to mirror. So this is me. This is my Twitter account, and I'm right here. All right. So this will hold true with any of the social accounts that you happen to be on, right? So let's just say, for instance, someone actually liked a tweet that I did, right, on my 5 simple tweets. And I might well say, see, somebody is showing me some love. So here's what I do. You're going to take the screen as it currently stands on your mobile phone, and you're simply going to do a screenshot with your phone. Click. And then you'll get your piece of content. You see that there. Tap on it. And then you can size it. So in this particular case, I don't want to do this part. So I'm just going to create that out. And then I'm going to take this and take it out there. So now I've kind of cropped it because that's all I want. And now that I've cropped it, I can then simply share it. So the up arrow button, the one here in the upper corner, see this one right here? That's what you are going to click on and hit the share button. And then it's going to, you can give it a name. So if you want to save it for later, I'm just doing this on the fly, so I'm not going to worry about that. But now I get to choose, where do you want to share this? So what I'm going to do is I want to share this on my Facebook. So I'm going to go here. And then it's going to prompt you, if you can notice this. I don't know if I can zoom this in a little bit. There you go. There we go. It's going to prompt you for, do you want to put this and share it on your feed? Do you want to do it as a story, or do you want to save it to your group and share it there? So I'm going to do the group because that way you'll see the evidence of the work. So I also like to share this in story because, again, there's different ways that you can flip it. So I can sit this and actually post this 3 different ways. Post it to my feed, post it to my story, and post it to my group. Voila, 3 times, one day, done. All right, so we'll go and I'm going to choose groups and all the different groups that I'm a member of, right? And I'm just going to click on ours, and I'm here. I'm just going to see some, whoops, and just do my little quick tap. Someone showing me love in Twitter, right? And then I'm done. So then, right, I make my little caption to go with it. It's done. And then I simply hit post. And now it's shared to Facebook. I just created a piece of content from somebody on my webpage or on my blog or on my inside of one of my social media posts. And I just captured it and shared it again with someone else. Done. And then I'm just going to delete that and I'm done. That was pretty darn easy, guys. So right there was how many have I created? I did an audio. I did a graphic visual in Canva, and then I posted that. And now I'm going, and I just did the tweet from share one platform over to another. That applies in all of them. So that's the other nice thing that you can do. And then also did an audio from a text. So there are several ways, again, that you can skin the cat and get a lot of content going out of one piece of content. That's like five. You get a whole week's worth of content if you only social post it once a day, right? So one good article, because it's got to be good quality, right? Because you want people to, and then you can even reverse it and tell them, see more of the information, go back and read my article and link it to the article. And that's how you're going to be able to drive traffic to your site. But one article, you can stretch it as many as 20 different ways. Actually, I'm just giving you a couple so that you have just a sense for what is a possible, right? Because that's what this is all about. It's about changing it up. Take one piece of content and just change the format, and you're done. And I don't know about you, but I'm hoping you see the potential in what it is you have the capacity to do. It's not that daunting, right? And people will think, wow, this person has really got their act together. And no one knows that you just are repurposing chunks of stuff that you already have. So you can go way back and pull out stuff that you already have and repurpose it and get in front of your intended audience. That, my friends, is what this is all about. All right. So, with that said, I hope you got a lot of good information today on Biz Tip Tuesday. And always know that you can visit us over in Content Creation Tips and More Facebook group, which is where we hang out and where I show love and be able to support solopreneurs, freelancers, and coaches who want to use content marketing to grow their business. That's right. Put in a little sweat equity on the front side, and then you can get a lot of return on the other side. And always know that if you haven't already started your business, but you want to start one or even a side gig for that matter, head on over to the Busy 9 to 5ers Hive. That's where people transition from employee to entrepreneur. Always check out my toolbox where you can find me on my website. And then up in the top right corner is a link to my tools and resources. And then you'll be able to access that and download the full list as well. And yes, for those of you, if you're interested, if you did already do so, if you don't have a social media management tool, and even if you have one, you can still leave them. You ain't committed to them. I got something better for you on the other side. Social Balance is the social media management and marketing tool that's going to make you get your zen back so you don't feel like the crazy person that you might feel by juggling all. You got to be the smooth operator. That's what this is all about. So please, until next time, this is Dr. Yam. I am your Keep It Simple coach. Let's get busy. Bye-bye.